Hey, good morning, Huntsville. Welcome into another episode of Good Morning Huntsville. I'm Rob Pipp, as always, and this morning, not as always, joined by Tammy Farkas, the Community Relations Director of SAAFE House. Tammy, good morning. Good to see you. Little intro video gets hyped up this morning. I feel like going out and running a couple of miles.
Not me.
Yeah,
I'll watch.
Definitely not. Well, we're going to have a fun show here this morning. I was watching the Boston Marathon. I didn't even realize it was Boston Marathon time yesterday. And Bridget and I had a baby appointment yesterday, and baby Caden's doing well, so we're thankful for that. But we were down in the Woodlands area and ate over at one of our favorite places called the Toasted Yolk, although we love Huntsville places much more. But there was the Boston Marathon on TV, I think it was. And I was like, man, I didn't even know it was time for that already.
I haven't watched that in years.
Yeah, and I definitely will never run that because there's no way that's going to happen. So, well, Tammy, excited to have you on this morning. You and I have known each other, I mean, pretty much since the day I came to Huntsville 4 years ago.
You and I came about the same time.
We did, yeah, that's right. And you were involved in ad sales and marketing and did a lot of great work here in this community, and now involved with a very generous and needed organization in the community. And it's one that I always say I wish we didn't have to have it, but we do. And we'll talk more about that here this morning with SAAFE House and the great work that you guys are doing, taking care of needs here in this community, and a lot of people getting help that they need. So before we dig into that, how have you been? What have you been up to? Always good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you too. I'm glad to be here. I'm so excited that you've got this going here. And been doing good. Just working with SAAFE House, doing some marketing. We just finished in March, finished up our Lucky Charm Bingo. And so you actually emceed it the year before and missed you this year, but we had Matt Childers did a good job this year.
Matt's taken over all the emceeing in here. That's okay. He reached out to me asking me if I could help with a couple things, but we were still in the transition. So, but he's done a great job. Love Matt.
He has. He helped out. I couldn't get you to fly back at that time. You were planning on coming back. I just didn't know it.
Yeah, we didn't know it either. I mean, we literally had. I want to tell you the quick backstory. We literally had like a room being set up at Bridget's parents' house. I had already rented a storage facility. We were going to move back there and stay with her parents until September. But things worked out a little bit differently than we anticipated, and we got back here a lot sooner. But being almost 40 and moving in with someone's parents, Mr. and Miss Brent, I love you, but we weren't looking forward to moving in with you, but it all worked out.
It happens. So
we were able to come back here to Huntsville. But yeah, so many great things happening in the community. I mean, what's been going on over the past year?
Well, at SAAFE House, we've had a lot of changes this past year. And I think the biggest ones, we have a new executive director. Tracy Stout is now with us. And for the past few months, we asked Jolene Miller, who was the executive director here for many, many years. She's come in and helped us get back to our roots and what we do best. And now Tracy's moving us forward and into the future, and we're excited about the growth opportunities that we have coming up and where we can service more clients, be better at our service that we provide to our clients. And this month is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and so we have been painting the town teal because teal is the awareness color for sexual assault.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because it is, we're already we're through halfway through April now, and that's one of the biggest reasons I wanted to have you on during this month is to talk about that. Again, it's something that we wish that we didn't have to have, but we do, and we need awareness of a very tough situation that happens to a lot of people throughout our local area, not just here, but quite literally throughout the nation and the world. But Sexual Assault Awareness Month, something that needs to bring attention to because
Yes.
There are so many victims out there that need support, that need services, that need somebody to help, that need somebody to listen. And SAAFE House provides all that and more. Give us a little rundown, Tammy, of just SAAFE House, how long you guys have been in the community. I know many folks out there joining us this morning have probably heard of SAAFE House, but if you haven't, maybe you're watching from outside of Huntsville, somewhere else in Walker County or somewhere throughout the U.S., just tell us a little bit about SAAFE House and why it exists and how you guys got started, Tammy.
Okay. Well, in 1984, a group of concerned citizens found the need to help victims of domestic and family violence. And so the Walker County Family Violence Council was created. In 1985, they started providing services, and they were actually working with the Good Shepherd Mission to provide these services. And in 1988, they saw a need to be able to grow their services. And so that's how SAAFE House was created. And so SAFE is actually an acronym. You'll always see it in capital letters, and it stands for Sexual Assault and Abuse-Free Environment. And so that is what we have today is SAFE House. Changing the name from Walker County allowed us to expand into other counties. So we now operate in 4 counties. Our home base is here in Huntsville, and we have a shelter here in Walker County. We have an office in Livingston and a shelter in Polk County. And then we have an office in Trinity for Trinity County, and then an office in Cold Springs for San Jacinto County.
See, that's why I'm glad we're having you on, because I thought, even though I've been here for 4 years, I thought, okay, it's just in Huntsville. So it's already some information that's very valuable we're providing this morning.
Yes, so we are able to provide services in those 4 counties. But that doesn't mean that somebody from outside the county can't give us a call. We have a hotline, and they can call that hotline 24/7, and we can assist them and get them some help. And so it doesn't have to be just from one of our 4 counties. We'll take a phone call from anywhere.
Again, this morning we're talking to Tammy Farkas, the community relations director of SAAFE House here in Huntsville. But as you just heard, serving 4-county area, an important organization. Tammy, if someone's out there, and I know sometimes, especially a lot of people, just afraid to speak up because they're worried about the repercussions, maybe inside their own family or with the spouse or the person that they're with that's causing harm to them. Kind of walk us through that process and just educate folks on, yes, it's very safe and secure.
Well, SAFE House takes all kinds of precautions. Confidentiality is our priority. Getting victims help, helping them be survivors and thrive. So when someone calls SAFE House, we listen. We take notes. We understand what they're going through. And that's what we advocate for, is for victims to be able to find their voice and empower them to be strong and speak out and get away from the violence. Whether it's sexual assault or domestic violence, we're here to help. We help guide them. Everybody's healing is different. So nothing is ever a quick fix. Some people can come through our program and they stay in our shelter and they're there for a few days. Others are there for several months while they rebuild their lives. Our advocates work side by side to help them and show them how to get back on their feet, how to grow, everything from taking care of their children to finding them a job. A lot of the people come to us and they have nothing. They literally show up with just their clothes that they're wearing. That's it. So our advocates, once we get them into shelter and everybody's give them a couple of days to relax, and we start helping them, if they need their birth certificate or if they need a copy of their driver's license or medical care, we start teaching them how to be strong and do that on their own. We also provide counseling. And we have outreach too, so you don't have to just be a resident at our shelter to be able to get help. We have a counselor that is full-time, and you can call and make an appointment with her on an outreach basis. And so we're not just the shelter, we're outreach too. And anybody that wants to come in, just give us a call. We'll help you out.
Again, we're talking to Tammy Farkas this morning, the Community Relations Director. I can't get that out of my mouth this morning. The Community Relations Director with SAFE House on a very important topic here as we are in the middle and halfway through a Sexual Assault Awareness Week. And you mentioned domestic violence as well and families with children. I wanted you to kind of highlight that a little bit. Maybe there's a mom out there right now that is in a situation and she has children. How does that work with a mother that has kids?
We bring the kids in too, because we treat the family, not just the victim. Children, we call them secondary victims, because they are victims too. They're not the abuse may not be focused on them, but please, if you're a mom, give us a call. We've got room for your children. If we don't have room, we work with lots of other shelters, other organizations that can help house you and your children.
I want to encourage you too this morning. Maybe you're going through a situation where you're thinking, this is an abuse because it's not physical, but there are things, there are words there when someone's yelling at you. I mean, that can be considered a form of abuse as well. And so kind of wanted you just to highlight that, because some folks are kind of scared to speak up. They say, well, I don't know if this really classifies, but I feel like I'm being harmed. I've always got this person yelling at me. They're threatening me. A lot of times those words do turn into actions, and that's why it's important to get help before the action actually takes place.
Absolutely. Yeah, family violence is not just somebody hitting you. It is somebody yelling at you. They're distancing you from your friends, that emotional abuse, constantly belittling you, cutting you down, telling you that you're not pretty enough, you're not dressing the right way. All those types of things are abuse, and they just continue and lead to, if it's breaking down your mental well-being, it's probably
important. That's why you need to reach house. Maybe this morning, again, you're in that situation where you are getting verbally abused or physically abused in an unfortunate scenario. SAAFE House is here to help you. That's why we're talking to Tammy this morning, and you can find out more information about SAAFE House online at SAAFE.org. That's SAAFE House.org. More information there on the website. We'll continue talking to Tammy throughout the morning as well. We've got a lot of time here. Want to encourage you to chime in this morning. Already a lot of friends joining us. We also like to bring a little inspiration to you here on Good Morning Huntsville. So if you're waking up in a place today where you need help, such as the services that SAAFE House offers, please call them. There are people out there that want to help you. And just realize that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to reach out to folks and find that help. Tammy, we'll talk more. Also, the director is here in the house as well.
Tracy's
So we're going to talk to Tracy in a little bit as well. Appreciate her joining us. But we've got a lot more coming. Please let us know you're out there. We'd love to hear from you. Send us comments. And as always, let us know what you're thankful for this morning. As you wake up, share that thankfulness with others throughout the community, and let's all provide that hand of support and lift each other up. We'll step aside. We'll take a break for about a minute. We'll be back as we continue here on Good Morning Huntsville. Back at it here on Good Morning Huntsville. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us, whether you're coming in live from the website on HelloHuntsvilleTX.com, where it's all about all things good here in Huntsville. Maybe you're on the social media platforms this morning through Facebook and YouTube. By the way, please go and subscribe to our Hello Huntsville YouTube channel. We're constantly promoting this show there, as well as interviews that we do around town. And maybe you've got an event that you'd like live streamed. We can do that here at Hello Huntsville as part of the community, not just here in Huntsville, but throughout Walker County. And so if you need an event live stream, maybe you're watching outside of the county. We have other services and other companies that we partner with as well, such as SHN Live, but we can help bring live streaming to your organization. Great way to promote. Digital marketing's in. I don't know what you've heard, but digital marketing is the way to get your word out. We can pinpoint exactly who you want to reach. And that's one of the reasons we brought Hello Huntsville here, is we wanted to bring a platform that was all about what's happening here in this community, and a growing community, Tammy.
Very growing.
30,000 on that pop sign. It reminds me of where I grew up in Georgetown as a kid. We had 7,000 people. Now there's 100,000. I don't know if people here in Huntsville want 100,000 people. And I always joke around and I say, thank goodness for the National Forest there on 45. Because it kind of filters out a little bit of that growth. It's a natural earth filter. But you know what? Hey, if you're out there listening and you'd like to be a part of this community, we welcome you. And Huntsville is such a welcoming place. It's full of some of the best people that I've ever met in my life. That's why we chose to come back here and just get rooted back here in Huntsville. But Tammy, great place to be. You've been here for a while.
I have been here.
Give us a little background of you real quick, because we kind of jumped into everything.
A little background of me. I spent more than 30 years in media, advertising, and marketing. Most of that was in newspapers. Have done some radio, a little bit of television, had my own advertising agency for many years. and I do event marketing. I have an event my sister and I run. So, marketing and advertising, that's my livelihood.
It's all Tammy is. She's always out marketing, promoting, doing the good works of Huntsville and so many organizations. Again, talking to Tammy Farkas this morning of SAAFE House. She is the Community Relations Director. I want to say a shout out. Also, let us know you're out there. Wally Harmon is joining us from the Georgetown area. Wes Altum here in Huntsville joining us. Good morning, Wes, and happy belated birthday to your son, Marshall. Marshall having a birthday yesterday.
Yes.
Also, my good buddy Joshua Harris of the Oak Ridge Disciple House saying good morning, Huntsville. He's got it. They also have a house there in Conroe as well. And we're actually going to have a representative from the Conroe House, I believe, tomorrow coming on and talking to us about the services that they provide to those that are suffering from drug and alcohol addiction. So it's just a lot of organizations that are making an impact, such as SAAFE House. We are in the middle of the Sexual Awareness Month here in April, trying to bring awareness to a very important topic that affects a lot of folks. And there's some numbers that you just weren't there, but they are there, Tammy. I kind of wanted you to go over some of those stats about how it affects people.
I'm actually going to read because these are a lot of numbers and I don't want to mess anything up. So, sexual assault happens every 68 seconds.
Wow.
To someone in the United States. And on average, there's more than 464,000 victims every year. 1 out of every 6 women has been a victim or attempted victim of a completed sexual assault. What am I doing wrong? Oh, now I can't hear. Okay. I'm not used to these things.
I flip. You can't see her, but I had to flip away. So.
And sexual assault does not only happen to females. Males ages 18 to 24, and most of them are college students. And because male college students are approximately 5 times more likely than a non-student between that 18 and 24 years of age to become a victim.
Can you go over that again? Because that's something I really want to hammer home, because a lot of times you think of maybe it's folks that are families that are in housing, but we're talking about college students, and we are in, let's say it how it is, we are in a college town. Huntsville
Absolutely.
is with Sam Houston State, 22,000 students.
Yes. Again, males age 18 to 24 and college student males 18 to 24 are approximately 5 times more likely to be a victim of sexual assault.
Man, see, I would have never imagined that.
Yes, 1 in 20 men are sexually assaulted at some point in their lifetime. 1 in 20. So if you have 20 friends, that's 1 out of that group could have been sexually assaulted.
Wow.
Every 9 minutes, a child is a victim of sexual assault. There's approximately, last year in 2020, the numbers come from 2021. We're about a year behind in our reporting nationwide. 2021, 63,000 children were affected by victims of sexual abuse. So in Texas, 1 in 5 women victims of sexual assault. And 80% of sexual assault victims are under the age of 30. And again, that highest ranking point is between ages of 12 to 34 in the state of Texas. So they're young.
Yeah, and you hate to hear those numbers from anybody, but especially young children. And then even in the community that I grew up in, Tammy, there was a lady that was 90 years old that was sexually assaulted. And it can happen to anybody, any place, anytime, anywhere. And that's why it's important that we have organizations to say to you, you have a resource that you can reach out to.
Yes.
And I want to reiterate that all morning. Don't be afraid. Please. The number one thing that you have to do is reach out. And I know that it's tough. I've never been in that situation, but I've known people that have been. And the folks that I've talked to said that was the hardest part, is just reaching out, letting people know what is going on. Because 1, I think maybe you feel embarrassed that something happened to you.
Yes.
Number 2 is you don't want it to get out in the community that something happened to you, especially if you're in a tight-knit community like Huntsville. But the most important thing that you can do is you have to reach out. And that's why we're putting the phone number there on the screen this morning. You can call SAAFE 858-6265. Tammy, the work that you guys do has been simply amazing. What are some of the other resources that you provide? I know we talked about the folks who call in, how you're helping them. What are some of those resources?
Some of those resources are, well, we provide child care. We have advocates that are trained in child care. And so if one of our residents needs, they're going to a job, can some of our child care advocates, if they could watch the children. We provide transportation to and from their place of employment, at their doctor's appointments, just any kind of appointment they need. We help them look into and research if they need legal help. We can help them find that. We have a pantry, so all of our clients, whether they're outreach or residential, can come into our pantry and find the things that they need. We also have a resale store that they can come in and they can shop for free.
So a lot of resources, that and much more at SAAFE House. You can find out more information on their website, again, at saafehouse.org, or call them directly. Again, that number is 833-858-6265. Tammy, we'll keep talking to you here in a little bit. Miss Tracy's here. We want to get her to hop on here in just a second as well. The executive director of SAAFE House. She's going to give us some updates on what's going on at the house, how things are going, and then some of the future and what that looks like for SAAFE House as well. Keep those comments coming in. If you have any questions, feel free to put those out there as well, and we'll try to answer those over the air as we're here live. We are downtown here in Huntsville in our beautiful studio. Thank you to our good friend at Elliott's Jewelers for sponsoring our studio right next to the gallery, and my good friend Paul Ollie. We'll step aside, take a break. More to come here this morning, again live here on Good Morning Huntsville. Welcome back to Good Morning Huntsville. Thanks for joining us. Good morning. Happy, where are we at? Tuesday, moving right along here. And excited to bring you another edition here, our 7th edition already of Good Morning Huntsville. We bring this show to you every single weekday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now joined by Tracy Stout, the Executive Director of SAAFE House here in Huntsville. Tracy, good to see you. Thanks for being here this morning.
It's good to be here.
Huntsville native, you've been here for a long time.
We won't talk about how long, but yeah, I've been here a long time.
Only 22 years.
Only 22 years.
Only 22 years.
That's true.
It's because you just had your 22nd birthday. Congratulations.
Yeah. Our nose is growing.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Tracy, good to see you. So glad that you could join us here this morning. I didn't have a chance to get to know you before when I was here in Huntsville earlier. So if you don't mind, just kind of open up, tell folks a little bit about you, your background, and just how long you've been and how much you love Huntsville.
Okay. I've been in Huntsville almost all my life, except when I moved for just a couple of years, and then I came right back. I was born and raised here. I am currently on the Huntsville ISD School Board. I've been there 13 years. And I worked for TDC. I retired after 26 years. Then I did a few things, and then I grandma'd for about 9 months. And God just made this happen. She was going to daycare on the 2nd, and I had a guy stop me on the 1st and say, "What are you doing? We need you." And I said, what do you need me for? And so I was about ready to go back to work. So this all just worked. God just made it all work. And I love where I am now. Everybody asks me, what in the world were you thinking? I can't make a difference on my couch at home. And that's
right.
why I joined the school board 13 years ago. So I love what I do now because I feel like I can make a difference.
Again, we're talking to Tracy Stout here, the Executive Director of SAAFE House. Appreciate all your work with HISD and the great work that they're doing. A lot of great things happening with the school district as well.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Been exciting there. Dr. Shepard has came in with the full force. What I love about Dr. Shepard is he's just active. He's all over the place.
Yes,
he
he
supports
is.
the kids, loves the kids. Shannon does a great job there with communications. And,
Yes, they do.
You know, it's Huntsville's why we came back. I joke around, and I don't ever wish that people would have been mean. I would never wish that. But I will say this. People were so nice that this was the community we had to come back to.
Isn't that amazing?
I told someone, they go, why'd you come back? I said, because you were too nice to me. I said, all you had to do is be mean to me, and I would have never came back.
Oh, my.
So, you know, that's what makes Huntsville so great. And you know that. You've been here and
Huntsville's
you've
a
seen it.
welcoming town. It's a little different, but once you get used to it, it's a very friendly town. People love the people in Huntsville, Texas.
And then your daughter has a business here as well.
She does.
I'll
Two
give you
Blondes and a bakery.
Go ahead and plug it. That's all right.
She's God just dropped that one in her lap too. She was joking around in my kitchen, and one day stress cooking, and they said, "Well, we should just be two blondes in a bakery," and here we are today. So
I love that term too, stress cooking, because Bridget, my beautiful bride, she is an amazing cook. And I don't know if it's like stress cooking, but we're always cooking and eating. That's like our favorite thing to do is cook. Mm-hmm. Her favorite thing to do is cook. She asked me to cook. I'm terrible. She can tell you first place, I can't cook.
she grew up around a lot of cooking in my house, but it was at a time in her life where she really needed some stress relief, and I'd come home and there'd be 5 or 6 desserts. And I'm like, what are you doing? We don't eat all these. And it was just literally a joke. And so she cooked for a long time out of my kitchen. And finally I said, you are going to have to get out because you're making a mess. So, and there she is today.
Yeah,
on 10th Street.
Awesome. Well, again, appreciate Tracy being here this morning with us. Let us know your comments. Let us know you're out there and what you're thankful for today. A lot of folks already joining us on the live stream here on Good Morning Huntsville. Tracy, just as I was talking to Tammy, first of all, congratulations on being at SAAFE House. Been there since February and doing a phenomenal job. So we appreciate you very much in your leadership and surrounded by a great staff such as folks like Tammy.
Absolutely.
This is an organization, just like I said to Tammy, I truthfully wish that it didn't have to exist.
Me too.
But it does.
But it does.
And there's a need that needs to be met, and it's here, and SAAFE House is doing that. What have you seen just, in this past year now with SAAFE House as it continues to grow, serving the 4 counties, kind of what's been on the agenda and what's in the process for the future as well with SAAFE House?
Right now, what we are totally strategizing on is restoring and growing relationships in our communities. I'm new, so at this, and so I'm making a point of going and making conversations and connections with our police departments, our sheriff's departments. I met with Huntsville's Housing Authority yesterday, just so we can make the process easier for our clients. And we have wonderful people at Huntsville Police Department. We have wonderful people at the Sheriff's Department. Most of the time, for me, they're a phone call away. We have developed a relationship with Tiffany Wiggins. She's their violence coordinator there at HPD. And she comes on the scene when there's an incident and the big old cops kind of scare the people. She'll come in and soothe it over. For us, it's been kind of complicated because if we have a sexual assault, they take them to Huntsville Memorial. They call in what's called a SANE nurse, and those people come out of Houston. So we have developed a process with Tiffany where they actually call us straight from the PD, and we go in, and those folks don't have to wait an hour and a half for the nurse to get there and then contact us.
Yeah, and that's good. It's not knocking anyone in Houston, but we're talking about people local. Number
Correct.
one, you get there fast, but then also it's people who know this community and may, know the victim and can be able to console them and comfort them a little bit more.
Right. And we had an incident in one of our other counties last week, and our girls were right there on the spot within minutes. And we moved her to a different shelter in a different county because she couldn't stay where she was. And it's just, even the sheriff's department was like, now we see what y'all do. So we don't ever want to have a client, but we also don't want anybody out there to suffer any longer than they have to. And you don't realize when people decide to go, they've about it, but they're not thinking about grabbing their birth certificate, and I can't get them into housing if necessary if they don't have it. So we have systems in place, and we're developing more and more systems to be able to help them faster. And we're developing programs, and we're just working to make it better for every client that we have. Walk-in clients are something else you don't realize that we do, but we have people show up every day of the week. We have a resale shop where we can take care of them. When you go, you don't grab clothes, you grab your kids and run. And yet there are so many different types of abuse that's out there. You don't even know. We were at an event here at the square last night, and I've learned words I didn't even know existed in the last few weeks. And so we want to be there for the people in Huntsville, Texas.
Again, we're talking this morning with Tracy Stout, the Executive Director of SAAFE House here in Huntsville, also serving surrounding counties as well. You just said something that kind of hit me. I've never experienced it, but you just said when you're a victim, you get your kids and you run. Now, there's some people who don't get their kids and run, and I'm not going to tell people what to do or what not to do, other than if you're in a situation, you need to connect with SAAFE House. But I would feel, in my opinion, that if you're in a situation and it's detrimental, get your kids and run.
Get your kids and run.
Don't hold back, because you never know what that next minute is going to have. And you're much safer going to SAAFE House than to stay there in a house that's unsafe.
Correct. And we have a 1-800 number, and they survive. It goes across all of our counties, and then our advocates will direct you to the right place. And it's important to us that people are taken care of. And that's always been a heart of mine. I love people. That's why I do school board. I can make a difference. And I want these people in our 4 counties to know that there is a place for them to go.
Tracy Stout again here with us this morning, the Executive Director of SAAFE House, giving us very valuable information. If someone that you know, maybe it's not just you, maybe there's someone that you know that is suffering from sexual assault or domestic abuse. Let me ask you that question, because someone may be thinking that this morning, or going back listening or watching later, saying, I'm not personally being affected, but I know of somebody who is. How can they help? Because maybe that friend is the biggest advocate right now that they have. How can they help that friend?
We've actually had that occur. Now, sometimes that's not as successful, because if they're not ready to have help, the statistic unfortunately says we have to help them 7 times before they get out of a situation.
Wow.
That's scary, because sometimes the 6th time is the last one, and they don't get to a 7th time, but the friend can call us. We can give them information to take to them. There's all kinds of resources that we have. We have a licensed counselor there on staff all the time, and she does a phenomenal job. We recently had a friend that I sent toward her, and it's just making a difference in her life. Sexual assault is not someone's fault.
Yeah.
And we don't go at it assuming that you're to blame. We go at it assuming you're a victim. And we help even our police officers that come in our shop. This is what's happened. We sit there with them and hold their hand if that's necessary. And so they can file the charges that they need to file. They can do the stuff that they need to do to start the process.
Again, Tracy giving us some very valuable information, some eye-opening information as well, here as we are in the middle of Sexual Assault Awareness Month. A very important topic that we are covering today. I always talk a lot of inspiration, and we share a lot of good news, but we do need to highlight organizations in this community that are doing the work done. So, SAAFE House. Tracy, we'll step aside, take a break. When we come back, I want to talk more with you about maybe what's in the pipeline and how things are growing at SAAFE House as well, if that sounds
awesome.
good.
Thank you.
We'll step aside. We'll take a break. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those. We'll be back here in a minute. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Huntsville, and we are live from our beautiful studio downtown on the square, sponsored by Elliott's Jewelers. Welcome back, friends. We are live downtown in Huntsville from our studio, sponsored by Elliott's Jewelers, right off University. Wanted to give a quick chance to plug my good friend, Paul Oley from the Gallery. We're right next to him. We're helping Paul with some things as well. But listen, if you need photography for your family, portraits, maybe you have a business and need some business photography as well, please go by and see our good friend Paul Oley again from the Gallery, located at 1201 University. Let's support local business. That's what Hello Huntsville is all about. That's what we do on this show, is we promote and lift up our community. Paul is one of those who does great work and would love to have you again, located at 1201 University here in Huntsville, downtown in the beautiful square. And one of the things that I love, and we're talking again to Tracy Stout this morning, the executive director of SAAFE House. Tracy, I love where we're set up at because we have the windows right here on the road, and I always get to watch a little bit of the sunrise. The only bad part of it is it'll reflect off of this white wall of this building across from us and gleam back in. So I do have some window coverings that are coming soon.
Okay.
But you need the light. Everybody needs a little
That's
light
right.
in their life,
Everybody
right?
needs a little light.
Everybody needs a little light, and we're shining a light this morning on SAAFE House and a very important topic with Sexual Awareness Month here in April. There's some other questions I wanted to get into about SAAFE House. I think one of them is when people are driving by the house here in Huntsville on Sam Houston, there is the for sale sign out there. So I wanted to bring that up to let people know SAAFE House is not closing down, but the building is for sale. Let us know a little bit about that.
It is. Even before I got there, our board had decided to sell our facility. Our building was the old Church of Christ years ago, and it's a great office space, but our shelters need some work. And so what they've decided to do is sell that building. We'll build a complex. The new thing is to put the shelter next to the offices, and that's so that our clients can come and get services without having to walk so far. A lot of them don't come with a car. And we offer transportation to farther places than they can walk. But my house for my shelter was built in the 50s. It looks like it was built in the 50s on the inside. And we've added a lot of square footage to it. But the goal is to have it where they can get to counseling, get to whatever they need faster. So our board is looking to sell our building. We'll rent a while, and then we hope to build somewhere.
Maybe there's somebody out there, again, watching right now live, or they're going back and listening to this throughout the Spotify podcast network, or they're on YouTube and they find this video later, or on Facebook, and they say, this is really hitting home to me today. I'd love to support this organization. Maybe they're not even in Huntsville. Maybe they're in Dallas, Texas. Who knows where they are?
Right.
But they're saying, I have a heart for this organization. How can folks help out? Because obviously there's a monetary need. Things don't just happen on their own. How can people get plugged in? How can they help out?
They can contact Tammy. We take donations all the time. I just went and visited with a local Sunday school class here, and for March, we're their donation. So
that's great.
I had a good time doing that. And just different people in the community, they send in donations once a month. You can do it lots of ways. We are grant funded. A large portion of our stuff is grants, but then we have a large need that does not cover. We have things that we need that we can't pay for with a grant. So, for instance, over spring break, I had a house full of kids, little kids, and my house advocate came to me and she said, Tracy, I want to do something with these kids. They can't go back to spring break from school to school and say we didn't do anything. And so she said, I want to take them skating. And I said, how much does that cost? And she said, I need $100. And I said, okay, well, let me find out, because I hadn't been there that long. And come to find out, I can't pay for that out of our budget. So I have a friend who told me, he said, Tracy, when you need something, call me. So I called him and I said, hey, friend, I need something. He goes, what do you need? And I said, I need $100 to take some baby skating. And within 10 minutes, he brought it to me. It's people like that in this community that,
100%.
He doesn't want me to say who did that, but God love him, and so we took all those babies skating with their parents on the Saturday before they went back to school. And they had the best time, and you wouldn't think about it, but they got to say they did something for spring break.
Yeah.
And my house advocate, she's so creative. She had a camp out the night before, a movie night, cooked hot dogs and roasted marshmallows, and looked under the sky and looked at the stars. And they just had a good week that way.
Love that.
And I go from having 2 or 3 people to we're at capacity. I got 22 people there, including 4, 5, 6 kids. And it gets kind of crazy sometimes. So we need a little bit more space. We are required by law to give services to men the same we are to women. I cannot put a man in the shelter that I currently have. So we have alternate housing for them, but we need to get it to where it's all together.
I'm glad you brought that up, too, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, especially with college-age men, in the community and wherever they may be and throughout the United States. But, if you're a guy, I know sometimes us guys, we like to just say, hey, I've got pride. Somebody did something to me when I was younger, and I don't ever want to talk about it, or it's still bothering me. SAAFE House is a resource for you. Talk to SAAFE House. Let them help you. Let them guide you through the process. Counseling. Important. Put all that aside. I know it's tough, friends, but put that aside and realize that sometimes the only way that you can overcome situations like this is you've got to reach out to somebody. SAAFE House is a resource that you can reach out to, and especially for guys as well. You mentioned that. There's a lot of ladies out there that are struggling, but men, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going through that, try to put that pride aside and say, hey, look, man, it's okay to get help. It's okay to put yourself in that situation to get help, and don't feel bad about it.
Well, sometimes things that happened to you as a child that you covered up, it just keeps surfacing. It causes problems, and you don't even really realize what's causing that problem. And a lot of times it's the past things that happened to you. So once you get that out and you go ahead and acknowledge that something did happen to you, then life can change for you.
SAAFE House is there to help you, especially if you're going through a situation right now. That is a resource you need to reach out to. I kept putting their number up on the screen this morning. Make sure that you connect to them, and they will provide the resources you need. And Tracy Stout providing updates for us this morning. Tracy, I did want to ask you, too, we mentioned about, looking for to grow and selling that building eventually, hopefully, and then renting for a while until you guys build a new facility. What else is kind of in the pipeline? Maybe some events that are coming up to help SAAFE House.
We have a barbecue fundraiser that's this Wednesday. We're excited about that.
And Tammy's cooking the barbecue, right? She the pit master. She's looking at us saying, "No way."
She has found a volunteer.
There you go. She's good at finding volunteers.
She is. We have a good team at both of our locations, where the shelters are, and then we have a lady that is in Trinity she's doing a phenomenal job. I've been in more courthouses in the last 3 weeks than I've probably been in my life, because we've been doing proclamations, and I've been going around meeting the judges and the DAs and that kind of thing. But even in Polk County, we service San Jacinto County. So we're also there. We have an office in the Chamber in Cold Springs. So we have lots of events. We have a casino night that's coming up in Livingston in June. We've moved the date 2 or 3 times, so I have to check with her.
Livingston, isn't that where the actual casino is?
It is,
Noskala?
and Noskala is one of our sponsors for that. So this is going to be the real deal. It's going to be a good time.
So this is going to be at Noskala?
It's not at Noskala. It's in the community center, but we're actually bringing in a company that does that.
Oh, I love it.
So it'll be a real life thing. And we just have events. And the events are what makes the difference sometimes for our budget. We sometimes have to give these ladies gas money when they move on. We have all kinds of things that we are able to do. We feed them meals every day. So there's lots that goes into what we do. It's not just what's in the office. We have a large amount of need for volunteers. And I have a volunteer coordinator, Cheryl Miller, who takes care of all that. And again, my whole life, I've just trusted God, and that's what I'm doing since I've been here. And when we have a need, it just shows up. We have a need for a little storage building built over at my shelter in Livingston. And a group from the college came last week and said, we need a project. Do you have something we can build? And I went, I just got back here about 30 minutes ago. Yes, I do. And so they're in the process of taking some stuff that we already had and building a shed for our lawnmowers and bicycles and that kind of thing over there in Livingston. So you just never know what you're going to need. We have a volunteer who comes in and helps us in the office, and come to find out she's trained in all kinds of domestic violence and sexual assault stuff. So we're hoping to tap into some of that knowledge. I'm in desperate need for a financial manager. I can't keep doing both jobs at the same time and grow what we're doing. So we just posted on the chamber page, I think yesterday, we are looking for a financial manager. If you're retired and you did accounting, I need you. And it's a paying job. It's not a volunteer job.
Well, that's important to let folks know that I'm actually putting a comment right here and popping that up on the screen. So SAAFE House is in need of a financial manager, a paid position, not asking for volunteers. So if you've got some finance background, give SAAFE House a call. You can visit their website online at saafehouse.org and let them know that you heard about it here through Hello Huntsville and Good Morning Huntsville as well. But again, very important topics that we're discussing this morning. Tracy, we're going to have you on again sometime. It's been a lot of fun.
I'd love that. Thank you.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you for
Tracy
having
and
me.
Tammy, when y'all come in, it's the two T's. When y'all walk in, Tracy and Tammy. It's the two T's
That's
here in
it.
Huntsville.
That's it.
When
Dynamic duo.
when they come in, the room lights up, and I can't tell you how honored I am to finally meet you in
Thank
person
you.
to talk to you.
You too.
But most importantly, Tracy, the work that you're doing through SAAFE House and your staff, you don't know how much that means to this community, and most importantly, how much it means to those who need help.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Once again, Tracy Stout joining us. Appreciate you. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. We'll close it up with the other T with Tammy here. I almost said Tracy. I'm getting the T's confused now. We'll close it out here with Tammy in just a few minutes. Stay with us. And again, let us know what you're thankful for this morning, Huntsville. We'd love to hear from you. A lot of folks joining us on the social media streams. We'll be back. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Huntsville. Hey, good morning, Huntsville. Welcome in. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. We are broadcasting live from our downtown studio, beautiful downtown square here in Huntsville, Texas. Our studio is sponsored by our good friends at Elliott's Jewelers. Hey, I got to tell you guys, if you got a special lady in your life, there's nothing like jewelry to put on some smiles. And my good friend Elliot Herslick can bring all the smiles back into your relationship. All you have to do is go online, visit him, elliotsjewelers.com. That's ELLIOTTS, jewelers.com. Bring the smile and the passion back to your relationship. Just get a ring and get some jewelry and some diamonds. Elliot can hook you up. And wanted to make sure that I mentioned Elliot. He does a lot of good in this community. Joined by Tammy Farkas back with us again. Great to hear from your director there with Tracy Stout of SAAFE House. Tammy is the Community Relations Director of SAAFE House. Big event coming up, barbecue. I'm excited. You're not cooking, so I'm definitely going to be just kidding. I'm totally kidding. What's going on with fundraising?
He's our main sponsor. Sponsors are, Physical Therapy Associates, Texas Urgent Care, and Wisniewski Dodge are helping us put this together. They kind of help us get the food and everything. So tomorrow, and you can still order today until I'm sold out. So if you want to go to our website.
And this is happening Wednesday, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
From 11 to 2 o'clock.
We
barbecue lunch.
Yes, it's $10, and we will deliver within the city limits of Huntsville. And we're going from 11 to about 1:30, 2 o'clock. So you can pick the time that you want us to deliver. You can pick how many sandwiches you want, and you can pay online.
Wow, this is a good deal. I may have to do this tomorrow because I know we have the. You know what? I may do this tomorrow. I may order one and then just take it to. Well, it's going to be funny because is it tomorrow barbecue lunch at Rotary? I think it is.
I think this week was maybe barbecue.
Yeah, it may be. Yeah. So, but regardless, it don't matter where you're going. You go into a meeting at noon. Who cares? Get all the save it. Grab a sandwich. Take it, and you'll be able to support SAAFE House as well. For more information, again, and to buy those tickets, she's still got some left, friends. Go buy them right now. Please go buy them right now. SAAFEhouse.com. individualized.org to get those tickets. Tammy, before we let you go, I always like a little bit of just encouragement, some inspiration. What has made this community so special for you, and why do you love it so much?
The people. I love the people, the relationships. My husband and I, being in the newspaper industry, have moved a lot. And we have decided to settle down in Huntsville. We are going to retire here. This is home. And it's just the relationships that we've built. People have made us feel welcome and at home here. I love Huntsville.
That's what's so important. Again, we love this community. We're going to bring you all things good happening here in Huntsville. And all you have to do is go to our website, hellohuntsvilletx.com, to keep up to date with all the good things happening. Posted an article yesterday about the Boys and Girls Club of Walker County, how they were able to go out and had a camp this past weekend about golf. And I know you may say, well, what's the importance of that? Well, one, it's kids getting introduced to a new sport. When you're introduced to new things as a kid, that sets you up for new opportunities in life later on. And Michelle Spencer and their staff at the Boys and Girls Club does a phenomenal job. So maybe you're a nonprofit watching today. You'd like to be on the show, such as Tammy. Please let us know. Still working on the format. We're going to bring more news and events as this show continues on as well. And we'll continue to bring you all the good things that are happening right here in our community. We want you to wake up with us. Maybe if you're going through a situation, I always talk about that every single morning. Hopefully we'll provide a word or two that'll help lift you up every single morning, no matter what you're going through. Tammy, great morning, a lot of fun.
Thank you
SAAFE
for letting
House.
me be here.
Doing
Thank
great
you.
work, and we'll have to have you back on sometime. I didn't have any trivia lined up for you today. Sometimes we do some trivia. I didn't throw that at you this morning.
Oh, good, because I haven't finished my coffee. My brain's not awake yet.
That's right. Hey, and we are. The cool thing is with the studio, we're continuing, ever so slowly to make some improvements, have a little sitting area. Got some new chairs coming in, some new lighting coming in, and thanks to Elliot's Jewelers for helping us with the initial things to get started as well. But one of the biggest things, and you did it this morning. I got to say this, man. I have to say this. Tammy's getting out of her car this morning, and I see her walking around. She has her coffee. There's her coffee right there. I'm going to be filling this up, by the way. So there's my coffee mug. This will be filled with coffee tomorrow morning because Elliot's Jewelers sponsored a Keurig coffee, and I got a green one, Huntsville green.
Yes,
so we're gonna
did. It is green.
We're gonna have
It's
some
green.
coffee here in the studio. But the funny thing was, Miss Tammy Farkas right here, to my right, your left, shows up this morning and brings her own coffee pot. And that ought to tell you that Tammy is wired, ready to go.
I do. And a lot of people laugh at me because I drive everywhere with this. I drink coffee all day long. And so, I show up at places with my own coffee craft. And it's.
You probably have like an inverter in your car and like a portable espresso machine, Tammy. You're not from up
I
north,
wish.
are you? From here?
No, I'm from Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say, because up
I'm
north,
Texas.
everybody drinks coffee all the time. So.
I have drank coffee for years, and I love it, and I don't like carrying those thermal mugs with the lid because there's just something about having a coffee mug.
Yeah, and I think like the Yeti thing, I don't know why we're talking about this, but we got off on this. I think like the Yeti thing I think it's like, I don't know, a trend, because all of a sudden now it goes from like Yetis to these new little containers with like straws in them. And I'm like, what's the deal, man? I thought Yetis were the thing. I found this brand Arctic at Walmart back in the day, and they were super cheap. They literally, when they started, I swear they were knockoffs of Yeti because they looked exactly alike, and they were like $10 instead of $50.
Absolutely.
And I loaded up on those bad boys, and I sold a ton of them on eBay back in the day. So, and I did not put a sticker on saying they were Yetis, by the way. We didn't do any of that. Anyway, a lot of fun here on the show. That's what you're going to get, a little daily dose of fun, inspiration. You're going to learn about great organizations in our community. I will tell you, Tammy, that Hello Huntsville is completely 100,000% committed to helping you guys, just as we are other nonprofits, but especially SAAFE House. I know we're working on some ideas, and we'll reveal those a little bit later about how you can get involved. A lot of times giving only happens during Christmas, so I think there's a need to give in the summer as well. There's a need to give all the time, but especially in the summer. And so we've got a few things behind the scenes that we're working on that we want to bless organizations like SAAFE House and others, not for our name, but for these organizations' name, to help them continue to do the good work. Because, look, they can't do it for free. And that's the thing that you've got to realize is, there's people need support. I can only imagine what SAAFE House's budget is. I would say probably $100,000 a month. I mean, probably.
It's $3,300 a day.
Okay, well, there $3,300 a day.
That is our average, and that's not doing extras like Tracy was talking about, taking the kids skating and doing a movie. That's not any of the extras. That is what it takes to run our organization, $3,300
Well, there
a
you
day.
look, and I said what 100,000, and it $100,000, $375
There
a
you
month.
go. Yep.
So man, yeah. So it takes a lot of resources and you know, this show, I don't want you to join in the show and be like, oh, there they go, hitting up for money again, because that's not what it's about.
No.
But it is about promoting these organizations and letting you know what their needs are. And what I love about the digital format is we can talk about it, and you can hop in and out of the broadcast. You can go back and listen at another time as well. And that's why we want to reach you here on Hello Huntsville. I got to get going. I got to go to Preferred Partners Tuesday morning at 8:15.
I got to go cut onions and stuff for the barbecue.
All
so
right, don't cry.
I won't. I'll try not to.
All right. Tammy, appreciate you. You don't know how much you mean to this community. This community loves you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Thank you. I love this community too.
More tomorrow. I want you to tune in, get back on it, join us around 7 o'clock. We're working on making sure that everything's ready to roll right at 7. My good friend that I just met, and I always say good friend because when you meet people and you know that they're good people, they immediately become good friends. Chris Fowlett. He is of Interfaith Disciple House from Conroe. He is going to be joining us, telling us about men that are suffering from drug and alcohol addiction. And it's another show that you don't want to miss. Chris, a dynamic guy. He's going to share his story, how he found redemption and recovery, and what he's doing in Conroe now. He found all that through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. My good buddy Joshua Harris, who helped him find deliverance in his relationship with Jesus Christ. But we're going to talk again to Chris tomorrow. Going to be a great interview, so make sure you tune back in. Bright and early, we will be on at 7 a.m. from our studio here in downtown Huntsville, as always, brought to you by Elliott's Jewelers. I know that I was like in that mode of signing off. I want to make sure that we hit an hour. We have 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining, Tammy. So I just wanted to extend it a little bit longer to make sure we hit the hour. What's in the pipeline for you? I mean, besides SAAFE House, what all are you up to? Or is that pretty much it? I mean, it's your life.
It's pretty much my life now. I committed 100% and found something that I can give back to. And so SAAFE House is it. I have a senior that's graduating, and she is going to go to SAM.
There you go.
She got accepted into SAM. So
Congratulations.
I am excited about that.
Yeah, wonderful.
So.
And Tammy is by the way, yeah, she's with SAAFE, but she is all over. She's in Rotary. Are you doing stuff in like another club too?
I'm with Rotary. I'm president of the WCRC.
Yeah, Walker County Referral
Cooperative.
Come out and join us today, noon.
Chamber board member. I'm on the city's tourism advisory committee.
Chamber Advisory Committee?
The chamber, yeah, on the executive board at the chamber too. So when I say I love Huntsville, I mean it.
She's all in. And here's the thing. Some people are all in, and they're kind of like, they're all in, but they're just like, I'm in to be in. I'm going to tell you, Tammy's not in to be in. She's in to make a difference, and that's what's important.
Absolutely.
So, well, friends, that'll wrap it up. We did hit our hour, so I want to remind you today to have a blessed day. Get out there and make a difference. As I end every single broadcast, I want to remind you that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own, friends. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there this morning needs you. Good morning, Huntsville, and God bless. We'll see you bright and early back at it tomorrow. Until next time, have a great day, everyone.